Today, I'm showing you how to look like a filter in real life. Consider this a masterclass. Grab your popcorn. I'm gonna start with my eyebrows just because I want to get them out the way. Starting with the Kosas Brow Pop Pencil, I'm just gonna draw a line from the front of my eyebrow over to where it starts to arch. I'm just gonna draw a parallel line at the top of my brow. And we're just gonna take this and form the arch. So now our brows look like this, but we're not done. I'm gonna take the Kosas Nano Pop Pencil and we're gonna fill in the front of my eyebrow. This is dependent on your brow shape, but mine don't have much hair in the middle, so I have to fill it in. Just like that, it's very natural, nothing too crazy. And then I'm gonna take the Rare Beauty Clear Brow Gel and just gently brush over all my brow hairs. I'm gonna take the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick to add contour lines. I'm using the shade Truffle, and this is where I'd consider my cheekbone to be. I'm literally just gonna put it right on my cheekbone. The reason that I'm doing this is because I feel like when I put it too low, it kind of drags my face down. So keeping it higher up helps enhance your cheekbones and then also make your face look more lifted. Also going to add a bit right here on my temple, because as we blend this out, this will also help lift our eye up. And then I also create this little V shape on my chin. This will help narrow in my face once we create these shadows. I'm also using this to contour my nose, and instead of doing the rainbow shape on our nose, we're gonna do an upside down U. This will help make the contour look more realistic because it'll create that button effect like your nose is coming out. Now I'm gonna go in with a bit of cream blush. This is the Haus Labs Glassy Rosette Cream Blush. Your blush color does not matter, it's personal preference. I change the color like every day, but I just put it right above where we put the contour and then a little bit on my nose. I know it looks like I have blush blindness, just trust me, it's gonna calm down in a few steps. I'm gonna put some concealer on my face using the Tower 28 Serum Concealers, but you wanna have two concealer shades because you wanna have one that's brightening for your under eye and like the center points of your face, and then one that's closer to your skin tone just to cover up any blemishes. I love the Tower 28 concealers because they're so creamy and thin, so they don't look cakey on your face, but they're also really high coverage. I'm gonna go in with my lighter shade and put that right on my eye bag, around my nose, in the center of my chin. Then I'm going in with the shade that's my skin tone, and I'm putting that on the outsides of my mouth, nose, and eyes. Look at the difference in my cheek before and after. I'm telling y'all, the coverage is so good with this. I'm dragging this line from my mouth to the center of my ear, and blending this around the sides of my nose. Women naturally get hormonal redness around their nose, so I just like to cover that. Blend out the under eyes, and then I'm also dragging this up towards my temple. This will also just help create the lifted effect that we want. And I'm bringing this concealer up the sides of my nose to kind of reverse contour the nose. I just take the excess on the brush over my eyelids because I want to get rid of these veins that I have. And this is something I'm trying to get better at, but I'm also going to add some on my forehead. I'm really forgetful with my forehead makeup. Now we have completed layer 1 of our makeup. I'm going to take some of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I'm using the shade 4.5 and just put a little bit on the back of my hand. I'm going to take a flat circular brush, just kind of stipple that across the whole brush evenly. I'm going to stipple this across my whole face. Look at that result. Yeah, before and after, it just blends everything together. I love it. Then obviously, if your face is looking this flawless, your neck needs to as well. So make sure to always drag your foundation down a little bit because you don't want any harsh lines. Now you can still see the subtle undertones of the pink blush and then the contour, but it looks a lot more natural when you do it before foundation. I'm gonna take this Armani Beauty Luminous Silk highlighter. This is in the shade 3. I'm just gonna put some pretty high up on my cheekbone. This is just because the higher you put up your highlighter, the higher up your cheekbones and your whole face in general look. Now I like to take a little bit more of our lighter concealer and just do a second layer on my eye bag just because mine are very prevalent and I like covering them up. So I just use this to kind of re-brighten my under eyes and also blend out any creases that might have formed, which are totally normal if you haven't set your face yet. So I immediately go into setting my face. I use the Kosas Cloud Set setting powder. I've been using it pretty much every day since it came out. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, and the key to looking like a filter is that you need to look airbrushed, and powder is the way to do that. So you want to be generous with the powder. Carve out the sides of my nose, and then I also set my under eyes. I'm basically just following exactly where I took the concealer earlier, so up to my temples, and I'll basically blend out my under eye setting powder completely. I won't really let it sit or anything, but I will let my nose setting powder sit. I'm also gonna drag a line from my ear out to my mouth, and the reason that I do this is because it helps brighten the underside of my cheek, kind of make my cheek contour more prevalent without it being too harsh. You don't want a harsh contour line on your cheek, so instead I just kind of brighten up the sides, and it looks a lot more natural that way in my opinion. Just like this, and then from the front you can see it's brighter down here. Then I make sure to also set the center of my chin and also around my nose. And this is a pretty known rule of thumb, especially if you are in the makeup world, but I'm gonna say it anyways in case you don't know, that you use setting powder to set wherever you put concealer. I put it right on my eyes, around my nose, and on my chin, and dragged it up in the same spots I put my concealer. But I didn't put any setting powder where I put my blush or contour earlier, because you set cream blush and cream contour with powder blush and powder contour. I feel like when you start stacking too many powders is when your makeup starts to look cakey, so only use the setting powder where you put your concealer. Now I'm gonna go in with powder bronzer and set where we put the cream earlier. And you'll notice this shade is not super dark. I'm not using a dark brown. This is a good medium brown that will look really natural on my skin tone. The reason that I don't put bronzer across my entire forehead is because I think this helps add dimension to my face face, so I like keeping the center of my face all bright, including my forehead. And then I will take the excess and also put that on my eyelid. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to add on a lip stain, because if you want to look like a filter in real life, you can't go out in public and then have your lip combo completely disappear on you. That'll just ruin the whole vibe. So I like to have a little color on my lips at all time, and the only way I can ensure that is if I use a lip stain. This is the Sachi Beauty lip stain in the shade Pink. Next, I'm gonna go in with powder blush. This is the Haus Labs Pomelo Peach powder blush. I feel like the Pomelo Peach is the perfect blush color for me, for this to still look natural and like a filter. I'm not gonna go in with some super dark plum blush shade because that would just look way too harsh on my face. And I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush to apply this. I also take a little bit of blush and I just run it across my forehead and my chin. It's because I like the colors I'm using on my face to be cohesive throughout my whole face. So I feel like it looks more natural if there's like undertones of the same blush color running through the whole face. And I'm gonna take the same brush I just put my blush on with and just kind of wipe away this powder. I don't see many people using these. I really have been loving like bronzers or highlighting blush. A product that has at least 2 of the 3 products we put here. So bronzer, blush, highlighter. This is a highlighting blush from Bare Minerals. Bare Minerals has like so many of these. They have bronzer shades as well. I feel like just putting on products like this helps merge these 3 lines and makes everything blend a lot more seamless. So I'm gonna put this right where I put the blush, just a little bit higher because we haven't put highlighter on yet. It creates that beautiful glow on your face. It's still really natural. And then I'm going to take this Charlotte Tilbury Easy Highlighter. This kind of scares me sometimes because I know that it's a liquid highlighter and I don't like putting it on top of powder products, but I haven't had any issues with it yet, so I like doing it. Preferably, I'd put it on a little bit earlier, but sometimes it slips my mind. I'm also going to put this on the tip of my nose and then down the bridge of my nose. And you want your highlighter to stay within the border of the nose contour you did earlier. Next, we're gonna skip up to eyes. This is like slowly becoming one of my favorite steps in my makeup routine. I used to hate doing my eyes because I used to be so bad at like eyeshadow and making things look natural and blend well. I do feel like I'm getting a little bit better at it, especially because I use products like this. This is an eyeshadow stick, which are way easier to use than actual palettes. So this is the Kimchi Jumbo Queen Eye Crayon, and I'm using the shade Cinnamon. I used to use a really like white vanilla ice cream shade, but I feel like it didn't look that natural on my skin tone. Like you could definitely tell exactly where I put it, whereas this color is much closer to my skin tone, so I feel like it blends a lot better. And I do just put that on top of my entire eyelid. And then I do also take this across my, what even is this section called? It's like not my waterline, but it's my skin under my eye. I take the eye pencil and I put it kind of maybe like 2/3 of the way towards the inner part of my eye. And I'll show you with it just on one eye. I feel like it just adds a little bit more depth to my eye. I do feel like this has orange undertones as well, which is opposite of blue on the color wheel, so I feel like it makes my blue eyes pop. Okay, I am also gonna take a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette, and I'm just gonna take this, it's almost like a brownish gray color. Just keep that kind of towards my crease. And I'll put just a little bit under my eye. I'm going to curl them using the Tweezerman lash curler, and then just clamp them up. I like looking down while I do it. I feel like it helps really lift them to the sky. Today I'm gonna use the Lashy Doll Flutter Extension Mascara from Lancome, and I just have a little mirror here that I look down into. Now, if you really want to look like a filter in real life, I do recommend adding a few lash clusters to the outsides of your lashes just to add a little bit more fullness. I feel like every filter on like Instagram and TikTok also have like little clusters they add. That's the difference. It just kind of adds a little something, and I feel like it makes a cat eye almost. And it only takes me like 2 minutes, so I'm like, why not just do it? I feel like it really pulls everything together. I'm using a lip liner. I'm going in with the Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine lip liner. I like any pinky brown liner color, so if this liner starts to fade when I go out or if I'm eating or whatever, the stain will still be there. Still have a little something on my lips. I'm gonna add a light pink gloss. This is a Buxom shade White Russian. This is a plumping lip oil. I like anything that like plumps or fills in lip lines or blurs lip lines or anything like that. Then I'm just gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I'm not too picky on my setting sprays unless I'm going to like a festival or something. It's really just like whichever one I grab first. And that is my completed makeup look, how to look like a filter in real life. My makeup looks so good right now. I really hope it's coming through in the camera. There's no beauty filters, nothing on this. If you love in-depth tutorials on hair, makeup, skincare, make sure to follow me. I'll be posting a lot more in the next few months. Everything I used in this video will be linked in my LTK, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.